Welcome back to DTU Live. I am BJ Smith, and I am going to be joined by my next guest, who is going to be from Richardson Seating Corp., which is a supplier who for 45 plus years has supplied the promotional products industry with American-made, customer logoed bar stools. So this is actually a new product for me, so I'm excited to be able to see this for the first time. So joining me today is going to be Ira Lichtenstein. There we go. There's Richardson Seating Corp. And we should have Ira joining us in just a second. So when I think about these stools, I'm really interested to see what these products look like themselves, because I have in mind something that happened several years ago when I would go to like auto parts stores and things like that. They would always have these logoed stools. But I imagine since then the technology has changed, and we've got a lot more that we can do. Do we have Ira? We're doing our fun day one technical issues. Hey, there we go. Is that Ira?
Yeah, it is. How you doing?
Hey, it's great to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So we're kind of wide open. Let's talk about some what you guys do.
We're a furniture manufacturer, and the main line that we sell into the promotional products industry is our custom logo bar stools. The customers can get their name, can get their product, brand name, any type of image at the point of purchase by putting their name on a counter stool and then getting that stool to the counter.
What do these stools look like?
They look like your pretty typical round seat, chrome frame bar stool. Most people have seen them everywhere, where you go to Napa Auto Parts, General Motors, Ford. Anytime you see one of those bar stools around the counter, there's a good chance that we made it.
How long has the company been around?
We are a third generation manufacturer. My grandpa founded it in 1975. My father worked there, and now my brother and I work there.
You know, it's interesting that you were talking about, you mentioned Napa specifically as one of them. I don't know if you heard right before you joined us, I was talking about my experiences. So I grew up in a car family. My dad was a car guy. We spent a lot of time around service stations and, you know, getting greasy in the engines and doing things like that. And as soon as I read the name of your company, it popped into my mind. I remember seeing these stools. I remember the different brands that were on them. Mm-hmm. And this goes back, and that's why I was asking you how long you've been in business. This goes back to when I was probably, my kid's age, 9, 10. So that was about 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, we were making the good wrench bar stool back, 45 years ago.
Nice. Yep. That was probably around that time that I really was there. That's really interesting. So, what has the industry been like over the past year for you guys?
It's been very difficult. We immediately, as soon as we heard about COVID, we closed so that we could change our factory around. We rearranged all of our production so that everyone was more than 6 feet apart. We brought in PPE. We brought in thermometers. We changed our entrances. We changed and went from, even though we only have 30 employees now, we scattered the start times so that people wouldn't be lined up. We got rid of our common room for eating for lunch. So we put a lot of things in place, and we believe that we've done a really good job of keeping people from contracting at work. But that's been our biggest challenge, is keeping people healthy.
And that's important. I'm glad to hear that you all are doing that, and that's something we're trying to do here as well. And it's been a really interesting year. Let's talk about some of the more fun stuff, I guess.
Sure.
So, what type of companies buy these logo bar stools, and how can distributors actually pitch that to their clients?
Custom logo bar stools are bought by a lot of the essential businesses that are open today. So whether it's the place where you go and rent a crane, or whether it's the place where you go and get your oil changed, or where you go buy some parts for a paint gun, or some parts for fixing your house, whether it's Home Depot, Sherwin-Williams. If you think about it, all of those places have a bar stool in front of their counter for you to wait. And that's just a perfect place to put an advertisement. So whether you're trying to sell to the local Sherwin-Williams dealer, or you're asking him, hey, how can I get to corporate so I can put this in part of a program? Anytime you can get a bar stool into a catalog or corporate program, it will stay forever, and they will keep ordering them year after year after year because it's something that people need and like.
Right, yeah. And, I think a lot of times when I'm looking at stuff like this, I think about how passionate some people are for brands, and and this seems like one of the great ways to sort of get that brand out there for other people to enjoy, not just something that you have at your business for your customers to sit on, but something that the customers could buy. Do we see that sort of thing happening?
What we see more of is we see a big manufacturer, let's say Caterpillar or John Deere, and they have a new product out. They'll use it as a dealer loader, and they'll give them away as a way to help advertise the new product if the dealer commits to so many of a new product. So we've seen them used to help push product. We've seen them sold to retail users, but the way we see the most volume is by manufacturers giving them to their dealers.
Nice. That's interesting. I'll probably regret saying this when I'm sitting in Dallas, Texas, but if you have any Carolina Panthers bar stools, you can send them my way.
We will do so.
All right, so I hear you have a show special. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, we are doing a show special this year. This is our first show special. It's available to any new customer and as well all of our current customers. So any one of our current customers who wants to place an order this week will be able to take advantage of the show special. And what we're offering is EQP on any order 50 or more. And if it's a new artwork, no setup charge.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big deal. That setup charge is, on the other things as well, but I know how difficult it is to get some of that artwork done. And
yeah, it's a really good opportunity for that customer who was considering maybe doing 50, maybe doing 100. Should I try it? Now they can do 50 for the same price and see how they like it. And they don't have a setup charge. So there's nothing really, cost protective for me even starting.
Yeah, that's great.
Cost prohibitive.
So where are the bar stools made?
We make them in our factory in Chicago. Okay. We've owned the same building since 1984, where we have a wood shop, a metal shop, and upholstery shop all under one roof.
Nice. So you've got everything right there ready to go. It's nice to have that all in one area.
Yeah, we do almost all of the manufacturing ourselves, almost all aspects of it.
That's great. So you mentioned before when we were talking about the show special that somebody can order this amount or that amount and not have to worry about the setup charge. Do you actually have a minimum order requirement?
Yeah, normally, and the order minimum is 2 pieces. So even if you can't do 50, even if you have one location that does an oil change place, everyone can buy 2 bar stools.
Yeah, that is not bad at all. I was expecting it to be a lot more than that.
We worked really hard to improve our technology so that we could be able to do small runs effectively in-house. We actually print them ourselves now.
And that was actually going to be my next question, because I'm really interested in printing and how that works. So what is the difference in the way you've been doing this for so many years? What is the difference in the way it was done, say, 30 years ago versus how it's done today, the printing part of it?
Well, even 45 years ago, we were screen printing, and we will still screen print jobs now if we have to Pantone match or for very large orders of spot colors. But most of our jobs will get printed now on a wide format printer.
Nice. I want to pick your brain a little bit later about
Sure.
wide format printers, if that's all right. I don't think everybody else is going to be interested in that, but I definitely am.
We've gone through about 5 of them, and we're pretty happy where we ended up on this current one. So we're happy to talk to you.
Nice. Wonderful. So can you tell us a little bit about your booth this year?
Yeah, our booth is featuring a video that we randomly took in 2013 while we were bored one day, and it just happened to be my brother announcing our top three items and all of the accolades about them. So it works perfectly. I also have a picture of my brother in the booth kind of smirking, which I thought would be good attention getting. And because we want to really support the industry and be part of this, we're a show sponsor. We're in the lobby. We have a new product. So we're kind of everywhere this show.
Can you tell me a little bit about the new product?
Yeah, it's not a new product. It's in the Made in the USA section.
Okay.
We haven't had many new products in a while. The newest thing that we have that we're not really showing yet, but we have the ability now to do debossed bar stools instead of the screen printed.
Yeah.
So if your client is looking for something a little less in your face, a little fancier, embossed vinyl looks really, really great. And we also have been doing embroidery. So being able to do a really intense embroidered multicolored pattern and do that on a backrest has looked really cool. And we have some that are being sold retail by some big brands.
Yeah, I would think that opens you up to a whole new level of clientele, because there's I know that the printed stuff is upscale, but I think about fine leather bags and things like that are debossed or have the embroidery on it, and you know, car, because I'm a car guy. Again, I said that before. You know, the car seats, it's got you know, the name of the car in it, things like that. You know, embossed.
Well, speaking of car seats, we're actually working on a project right now, which is really cool. The side of the seat has a diamond embroidered pattern.
Oh, wow.
So the bar stool is actually going to look somewhat like a Chanel bag on the side.
Ah, nice. I like that.
Huh?
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so we have a client that's looking for that specific look, and took us a while to source it, but we found all the materials we needed, and we're excited to get the sample out.
Nice. Wonderful. And there's the call that always has to come in.
There's the cell phone asking what I'm doing.
Right. And I mean, this is a sign of our times for sure. So speaking of sign of our times, how are you and your family getting along during all of this?
We've actually had a pretty rough go. My parents got COVID really bad in March.
Wow.
My dad was on a ventilator for 9.5 days. My mom was in the ICU as well. So it was really touch and go for a while. And we didn't get to see him because we're in Chicago and they're in Arizona, and you can't visit. So I haven't seen my parents since February, and that was tough. My wife's a doctor, so she's actually gotten her 2 shots.
Oh, wonderful.
My one son is homeschooling, the other one's too little. And then I have some conditions, so I'm not going to work in the factory either. This is the most I'm doing right now, is this interview with you.
Well, but it's nice that you actually have the ability that you can do this kind of work. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a little different for the factory folks, but you have the ability that you can do it remotely. So that's really nice. We're wishing the best for your family.
Thank you.
And
yeah, they've had a very nice, miraculous recovery, considering that he was on a ventilator and now he's driving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. I had a friend who was in Chicago. His dad got it early, but he made it through. But it was rough. So
it was almost like a blessing that he had it early, because they were the only people in the COVID unit.
Right.
So they got 10 dedicated doctors and nurses who were like around the clock paying attention to them. It was called Medical One. It was a phenomenal experience.
That's
as good as something like that can be.
Yeah. And you think about how things are going now. Everybody is sort of, getting crammed into some of these hospitals now. But
yeah. So I mean, considering we were lucky, but it was a rough go for a while.
Well, that's good. Well, we're thinking about you guys, and we're glad that Richardson Seating is doing well and making it through all of this.
Yeah, we're open. We have materials. We can build bar stools. We can ship. There's no import taxes. We're making them in the USA. So it's as easy to order from us as it was 10 months ago, 2 years ago.
That's great. Well, I want to remind everybody to check out the Richardson Seating Corp your booth, excuse me, I keep wanting to call it exhibition, but your booth on the show floor. Go check it out. Ira, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Nice to talk to you.
Nice talking
Thank you
to you.
very much.